grand whatever. Please beings, party people, and they mamas. As always, welcome to Poetry on the Patio with Pleiades. If you're wondering why I look so fantastic today, it's because I've got this sunset lamp on me. This is episode 34. We're calling it Post Vibes. Whatever that means. I mean, we know kind of what that means. My hair has been looking like a mess. I've been feeling like Loki a mess. We got 30 minutes on the clockina. We don't got the clockina with us. It's literally right down there, but we don't got time for that. I mean, we do, but we also, I mean, it's just episode 34, you know? We're just keeping it going. We're maintaining the streak or whatever, the continuation, the amazingness. Anyway, to get started, I will say maybe this will be a short episode. I've been struggling with my data, my storage on my phone. Maybe that's not the right word. Maybe data is not correct, but yeah, the storage on my phone has been kind of a struggle, and I feel like I've been running and chasing to get to a goal that like keeps getting further and further, and I like understand that's like everyone's experiences these days, right? But anyway, I've been dealing with a concussion, right? And so I am now 2 weeks out of the concussion or whatever. Like today is Sunday actually, and so it's like 2 weeks in one day. But yeah, I'm posting tomorrow. Today's Sunday, January 25th, and I'm posting this episode on January 26th, the Monday, you know, every single Monday. And next week, I don't even really actually know who the interview is going to be. I just know that I have to do an interview, and I've been stressed and struggling about that, struggling, if you will. But we will figure it out like we always do, inshallah, right? And Otai, if you're watching this, you probably are. Of course you are. If you can help me out, I don't know if you can, bro. What the heck? You know, I've asked other people as well. There's a timeline that I had initially thought of, but then people told me that they weren't able to make those timelines, and I wasn't able to respond in certain times because I'm just one measly old person, you know. I'm not old, but I'm also 25, about to be 26 this year, you know. Like this month that's coming up, February, on the 21st, it's going to be 6 months until I turn 26, so I'm 25 and a half years old. It's like, what have I really done when I've been 25 years old? You know, have I actually been doing anything? Actually, I don't know. But anyway, let's keep going. So let's get into the questions, the topics that we talk about weekly. First, post Cali. How am I feeling post Cali? Well, first of all, I'm not gonna lie, I feel kind of guilty. I've been feeling like a bad friend just through and through all around. And if any of my friends are watching this, please understand what I'm going through. I'm sure you do, but I again have been feeling like I have to run to catch up, and even then I feel like I am going super slow, like slow motion or something. Like I feel like I get a third of a day's work done in one day, so it takes 3 days to get what I'm trying to do in one day done. And that's really frustrating because 3 days will pass and I'll be like, yeah, no, that should have gotten done in one day. And maybe the only reason it didn't get done in one day is because I went through a concussion. And like, yeah, you know, you do get better after a concussion, but you also know like you've lost some time there, and like maybe other people have whatever, but you've just been resting and relaxing, and like you had to, you know, because otherwise you would have had continued perpetuating your disability. And even right now, like my brain doesn't feel 100% right. So post Cali, I've been feeling guilty. Unfortunately, I've been feeling relaxed also, thankfully, because I have more of a set schedule, but I am continuing to travel a lot. If you know me, I have been traveling a lot recently, and I'm only going to continue traveling a lot, and I do enjoy traveling, and you get to meet a lot of people and know a lot of people and learn a lot about the world while you're traveling, which is, you know, a blessing in itself. And people get to learn about you, and you get to learn about, again, people. So that is a good thing, right? With post Cali vibes, being on airplanes, making friends, meeting random people, having those people connect. And also, you know, it's always good to be back in the city, not the city, the state that I was born in, California. I was in North California this time around, and I got to see the redwoods, which to be honest, the lighting that I'm experiencing right now was similar to the lighting that the trees were experiencing. And it kind of seemed as if the trees were extremely red. You know, the light made it appear that the wood and the leaves were red, just like the light's making my skin appear to be red. And maybe a little bit green. You know, the sunset lamp is doing all sorts of things. Anyway, we're inside, by the way, because there's a freeze going on in like a majority of America. I'm not sure if you guys realize this. I'm sure you do. If you watch this podcast, you're probably in Texas or you're in the South, you know. Anyway, there's a lot of people whose plans have gotten changed because there was airplanes, flights that had gotten canceled, right? So post more traveling. Let's move on to the next question. So how do I feel post more traveling? I feel good. For a while, I felt like, you know, while I was traveling, I would not be able to maintain my health or maintain my boundaries. And right now, I'm still feeling like my routines are thrown up in the air, shaken. You know, I'm just like rolling the dice. And I don't know, I just feel like grateful to have the opportunity to travel so much. And I also feel exhausted. You know, I want to find a place to settle. I want to feel some peace, and I feel like I'm always just running around, and like that's what has been in the cards for me, right? Like I again have been feeling like I'm outrunning something, and that gets exhausting. And so moving on to the next question, post loss, post grief. I don't know, you know, there's just like constantly loss going on in the world, loss going on in life, and we are constantly reminded of the loss that's going on in the world. And I think we should be, right? Like there's a lot of things happening with the freeze right now. So like a lot of people are getting hurt. I have lost my car, you know, I've totaled it. And that has been causing me some pain. Again, the grief of experiencing this concussion and what that has been doing, moving from Austin to Houston, and the grief of not being in that city anymore, the grief of being in a city that has brought me so much pain, or the trauma of a house, this house that you guys are witnessing, this room, you know, the pain that has unfortunately brought me at times. Post loss, again, in a global sense, the genocides that we have been seeing with Palestine, what Israel has unfortunately been doing, you know, what we have been continuously speaking on, the people who have been getting hurt, the people who have been getting harmed. We have power in this to change it, to change our lives. People who are getting detained, ICE raids, you know, people who are getting killed, people who are getting hurt by police officers. It's just, we're all doing what we can to move the energy forward, use our platforms correctly, speak up about what we believe in. And yeah, post loss, post grief, a lot of us are experiencing so many things, and some of us want to deny these things that other people are experiencing. And it's like, what, do you have no empathy? What, do you have no sympathy? What are we doing if we're not taking care of each other? Again, what we do here matters. I've spoken about this on my podcast before. I also want to take a moment again to thank my audience, as always. Everyone who watches, you guys are amazing. To the commenters down below, you guys are amazing. I don't know how y'all spend 30 minutes a week with me, or 15 if you're watching this on 2x speed, or anywhere in between if you're watching on anywhere in between speed. But thank you guys for being a part of my community. Maybe I'm just being too hard on myself, but it's like, yeah, how do you guys take the time out of your week and give it to me? You know, I make this content because I want to, again, be a part of the world, and I want to see the world change. I want to see what we can do when we move energy around, and when we shuffle it, maybe roll some dice, you know? So yeah, I think that's post loss, post grief. Now we're talking about post party. I don't know why I'm talking about post party as if there's been a party going on. Maybe I thought things would be a little bit different, and that's probably honestly the truth, but like every day is a party, right? And I think like if you can manifest better energy, then better energy comes towards you. But like recently I've been just like so down and depressed, and I didn't think that I'd be talking about this on this episode of this podcast, but here we are, right? I guess I was trying to find some energy to create a better energy out of this project, a better energy out of my week, out of my life, out of my day. But the truth is that like I have been trudging along, you know, just like feeling like it's been mostly an uphill battle. But luckily the point of an uphill battle is that you are not at your lowest point, But I look back and I remember my lowest points, and I'm like, yeah, I was just there. And I'm about to get to this peak, and I'm like, what am I going to see on the other side of this mountain? You know, like, is it going to be a gorgeous view? Is it going to be a view that's like, okay, like maybe I go down a little valley, but then we continue back up. But it's like, okay, well, wouldn't I see that? But it's like when you go up, there's only one way to go from there, even if it's a little valley for a little bit, which is down, you know? So it's like you're continuing to go on this hike for whatever reason, and that's just life in general, right? So yeah, I continue to travel, I continue to work on my podcast, I continue to thank my audience for being here and feeling blessed that I get the opportunity to do this project. I am going to make a specific video for this, but I do want to mention this for a brief second while I have y'all's attention, if I have y'all's attention. But thank you guys for 200 plus subscribers. I just passed that feat. And honestly, I will say something that may be a little bit hard on myself, but I did expect that to get there a little bit earlier. But at the end of last year, during Christmas time, things were just going all the way around. I also want to mention that I'm on my period right now. So like I have been struggling emotionally and physically, and I'm on my knees on my bed right now because you are on my windowsill where my camera is, you know, where my phone is, again, my storage, everything's been amok, everything's been running a mess. And I think I've been struggling with these storage problems since I started this project. But I think, like, you know, a while back maybe I had like 30 gigabytes, but now I have like 10 gigabytes, and apparently you need like 17 gigabytes for this new iPhone updates, which is crazy because that just means they probably want to get rid of you and give you a bunch of glitches if you don't update your phone, right? And everyone else has the update, you don't. Right? Anyway, post party, right? That's it. Post party, whatever. Post schooling. Yeah, so I'm not in school anymore. And I do want to talk about my sister. Thank God, mashallah, she passed this test that was required, obviously is required for nurses, but maybe I can sit a little bit. Don't pay attention to my mess. Yeah, now it kind of doesn't look like I have a mess back there. But yeah, I do want to congratulate my sister and get the opportunity to talk about her for a second. She graduated A&M's nursing school and will go on to be a nurse because she also passed her like entrance exam or whatever, and that's amazing news because schooling is difficult and then you start working, right, and then you can take care of yourself. And right now I'm in a position where I'm like, well, what am I doing with my life? And people are like, well, you're a bum and you're not doing anything with your life. And maybe they're not saying that directly to my face, but sometimes it feels like that, you know? So I just continue to work harder and faster. And sometimes that's just not a possibility because like maybe you're an artist and your work isn't taken seriously. And maybe people are like, yeah, you're just not doing anything for society right now. But it's like, well, society right now is capitalism. What you're doing is maybe being like a FedEx, Amazon, UPS, USPS driver, you know, maybe you are a retail worker, maybe you are working for a tech company, whatever you are, you're like working for the big man, right? You're working for big pharma, maybe as a pharmacist or as a doctor, you're working for big medicine, right? If you're at a smoke shop, you're working for big nicotine, right? Big tobacco, whatever. This is just a continuation of a bigger cycle, right? Crazy work that we have going on here. You have a bartender, you're just a part of big alcohol, right? Whatever, you're a bar owner, you're still a part of big alcohol, right? Crazy work that we've got going on here. So as an artist, why is your work not respected? Why do I feel like I have to trudge, continue to fight, knock at the door, at every single door, be like, I'm an artist, look at me, care about what I'm doing, care about what everyone else is doing, care about what we're all doing, you know? I that's what I feel like we're all doing these days, and it almost feels silly. So post schooling, whatnot, what does that even mean, right? And then you got post healing. So we're at 14 minutes and I got 2 more things to say, and then I don't even have what next week is because that's just the interview that I'm supposed to be ready for. That's in 1 week, 7 days. I got 7 days. The clock is ticking, Pleiades, you know, and the clock is freaking clock is ticking. Are you standing on the clock right now? Are you on the business right now? Anyway, post healing, there's no post healing. You're healing right now. Healing is not linear. You go up and down, you go down and you go up. And like we said, we're on the mountain, we're hiking for some reason. You get to the peak, it looks beautiful. You go back down, you go back up, you do it again, you go back, you go forward. Healing is not linear. And maybe time is not linear, right? So you jump parts of the timeline and you're like, how did I get here? I've been here before. Why am I here again? You know, this probably is a good place to be, but why does it not feel right? Like, why does it feel like I should be somewhere else? But why does it feel like this is a good place to be? But like, anyway, that's something that is probably a larger topic for a larger day, but maybe I'll just get into a little bit of it. Whereas, like, you know, because of my concussion, again, I feel like I've been slowed down, but I also feel like I'm at a pace where I need to speed up, and it's like I've been slowed down in a way that I can speed up in that way, but it's like really frustrating, you know? And it's like, yeah, I can use that frustration to rapidly get to where I'm trying to be, but obviously it doesn't come without feeling like crap. And I wish it didn't feel like crap. And anyway, there is no post healing. You know, you continue to journal, you continue to write your stories, your story, you continue to read your books, you continue to work on your podcast, you continue to make art. You continue to go to work. I'm not saying that your work isn't important if you're working for the big man, if you're working for a big business, but aren't you a sellout still? And if I take a record deal, if I take, you know, an advertisement deal, if I'm, you know, literally advertising for Target while you're working at the Target cashier, or you're working at Target selling the clothes, you know, or you're selling your clothes to Target, or you're not selling out to... Are you not selling out too? So I'm trying to have this conversation, and we're having the conversation together, but walk with me here, you know, be a community with me. I am exhausted, and I'm sure you are too. So I'm not the one to fight, and I'm not trying to fight you either. I'm just talking at the camera, right? Like, I'm just passionate about this. What's wrong with being passionate? Nothing's wrong with being passionate. And anyway, last thing that we want to talk about is Post Malone. Post Malone seems like a great man. I don't know much about what he's doing these days, but everything that I've heard about him seems like a great thing. You can tell me if that's wrong, but you know, I love it because sometimes I'll get real worried about how people feel about me, and that's just because this world is a very scary place, and a lot of people are not good people. And in that case, those people, like, I don't know, the people who have been calling out bad people, I'll be like, basically, am I good, am I bad, am I okay? And then they'll be like, why are you worried? Like, you out of all people, why would I be talking to you about this? And anyway, I'm just saying, like, if you're worried about how you come off to people, you're probably not the problem. Anyway, I love you. It's 17 minutes into this. I probably could talk for much longer, right? 30 minutes. We're supposed to have a 30-minute episode, but I have been running out of storage, like I've been saying. I've been really struggling about that, and yeah, if I can figure that out, that'd be great. If not, that's also fine. We're again trekking along every single day, fighting, running, working, understanding. We want to like up the expectations for everyone, but also like we need rest, and finding a healthy balance feels impossible when it's like we're all dealing with capitalism, and we're all competing against it, and we're all grinding and having that grind set or whatever. At the same time, we're all encouraging rest, but then it doesn't seem like other people are resting, so then you're like, what is happening? And then like rest means different things to different people, you know, so that conversation gets exhausting again. Anyway, we're done with this. Thank you guys so much, party people, please beans, and they mamas. Thank you again for being here. As always, you guys know what I'm going to say. Brush your teeth. Take care of yourself, your friends, your family. Take care of your education. Take care of your health. Love yourself. Love everyone around you. Love the world. Love colors. Take care of your hair. You know, if you want to color it, color it. If you want to clean your room, clean your room. If you don't want to clean your room, clean your room. I feel like my hair looks so crazy right now, but maybe I just got to style it and fix it because, like, I need a haircut. Give yourself a haircut. Anyway, hydrate, and until next time, folks, bye-bye!